Sports. We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
Gordon lines it left center field. Hits it deep, and he hits it over. Bats his head. Gordon around second, on his way to third, and he's in there. Ford drives it. Ball game. Miami walks off. Gordon scores. After a stirring extra inning win last night, Miami goes for the mini sweep. This two-game series against the Red Sox, and an afternoon start in Miami, and a busy day. World War II veterans all lined up. Great moment before the ball game, and some warm congratulations, appreciation, and applause. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton as well. We celebrate the franchise four. We'll have a pair of them, Mike Lowell and Gary Sheffield, in the booth as the game goes on. For the Marlins, though, a really nice feel-good moment last night.
You know, when you have a win such as the Marlins had last night, you love to carry it over. So hopefully the same thing will happen today.
One thing the Marlins have struggled with this year, scoring runs and getting on base. But last night, getting on base led to runs for the ball club.
You and I talk about this a lot, Rich, and we're going to go through three different scenarios last night. A leadoff double by JT Realmuto. The Marlins really capitalized when they got that leadoff man on base. He would eventually come in to score when pinch hitter Casey McGee got the ground ball out to bring him in. In the seventh inning, Derek Dietrich was able to get things started. Ichiro, eventually in the inning, almost hit a grand slam, a deep sacrifice fly. Dietrich would come in to score. And then that 10th inning, the triple by D. Gordon. He thought Mookie Betts was going to make the play, but he didn't. He's at third base. Justin Bour was the hitter. And I think if you watch, you know the result. Great at bat by the big guy, driving in the game winner.
So in this one, you know, there's a lot of guys at AAA having nice years. They don't all get shots in the big league. Adam Conley is getting his shot. Still has the lowest ERA in the Pacific Coast League, and he's into the rotation.
Yeah, that ERA 2.52. He was 9-3 for New Orleans.
Eduardo Rodriguez goes for the Red Sox. He's a lefty as well.
Coming off a good outing, but he lost to the Yankees. 6 hits, 2 runs in 7 innings. A real loose arm. He's got an easy fastball.
The Marlins, the Red Sox ready to go. The Marlins bullpen. Some new names, some new arms. Talk about it when we return. They wouldn't have been able to get it done without a great effort by the bullpen. With that, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
No doubt about it, Rich. As a matter of fact, a tip of the glass for these guys because they did a great job. 13 up and 13 down.
Very impressive. 4 1/3 no-hit innings. Obviously, you get them all up and down. There's no hits, but a couple of young guys, a couple new additions to the staff. 3 guys that have been here all year long. You start off with Bearclaw, great name by the way. Absolutely does a great job coming in. Then Flores comes in after him.
And he had a nice run, inning and third. And then Mike Dunn came in for 2 big outs.
Yeah, Mike Dunn comes in for a couple big outs as well. Lefty matchup. Got Big Papi on a big strikeout there. Threw his bat in disgust. And then A.J. Ramos, great to see him come out with a flawless 9th inning, keep the Marlins in the game, and they were able to win it in the bottom of the 10th.
And Brian Morris came in and did his job, 1, 2, 3. And that was no drama at all, and obviously a key when you're down 4-0. Everybody always talks about you got to get some offense, but you've got to keep the other team off the board, and that sometimes gets forgotten.
Well, that sometimes gets forgotten, of course, but you look at the numbers last night, 4 1/3 innings overall, 0 runs, 0 hits, 3 Ks. Outstanding job by the bullpen.
And franchise 4-day here. Jeff will be honored along with Chef, Lowell, and Giancarlo. Did you get a chance to see some of your former mates?
Not yet. Not yet. They're going to be up in the suite a little bit later. We'll get to talk about old memories.
And the Mount Rushmore of the Marlins history, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And then Nine will be on the air with us later along with the aforementioned guys as well. All right, the short series finale is coming up. The Marlins would love to take a little 2-game sweep and a 3-game win streak to St. Louis. That's all at stake. Next on Fox Sports Florida.
Let's Go Places by Hialeah Park Racing and Casino. For more information on our 2-year anniversary on August 14th and 15th, go to HialeahParkCasino.com. By Vico Painting Contractors. For top quality work and excellent customer satisfaction, visit VicoPainting.com. And by AutoNation. Save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit us online at AutoNation.com. Very warm outside this afternoon in Miami. Nothing like the Palouse, which is where Adam Conley pitched his college ball at Washington State. He takes the field with the rest of the Marlins facing this Boston lineup. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. Boy, Mookie Betts was a bundle of energy in 3 hits last night. Brock Holt hitting second. Xander Bogaerts is hot, and he's the best in baseball against left-handed pitching. David Ortiz in the cleanup spot. The Cuban Rusney Castillo moves up to hit fifth. Pablo Sandoval is in the sixth spot, and he's playing third. Blake Swihart will do the catching. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in left. Eduardo Rodriguez is in the ninth spot.
Well, another youngster on the mound. The Marlins have used 12 pitchers this year, 25 years old or younger. 25 is Adam Conley. He'll be making his sixth appearance, his second start. He had that good start against the Cincinnati Reds. In a perfect world, you'd probably have Conley, the left-hander, and Nicolino, the left-hander. Probably mix them up in the rotation because in some ways they're similar. I think Adam Conley will use his changeup a little bit more. We'll watch for that.
Mookie Betts in the box. Brock Holt, Xander Bogaerts to follow, and here's Conley's first pitch. That's a strike, and it's brought to you by Pinch a Penny. Betts on the concussion list until yesterday. Came off and promptly went 3 for 5. Drove in a couple. Cuts at a fastball and pops it up. That would be D. Gordon territory. He makes the catch. There's one out.
All right. The Marlins defensively, brought to you by BMW. You know that D. Gordon's playing second. There's the outfield. Dietrich, Gillespie, and Ichiro. Prado, Echeverria, D. Gordon, Justin Bohr around the infield. JT Real Muto handling Adam Conley.
Here's Brock Holt. Holt, a guy that the Marlins saw up in Boston and the country got to see in the All-Star game. All the big names that the Red Sox have: Hanley Ramirez, David Ortiz, Pablo Sandoval, Dustin Pedroia. Holt was the only All-Star. Little jam shot, and he dumps it in center field for a hit. And deservedly so. He's played all over the place and has played very well defensively. And has been a nice offensive piece this year as well.
You mentioned a name as you see Holt get this base hit a little bit off the hands. You mentioned a name, Dustin Pedroia. The Marlins have missed the guy they call Petey in Boston with various injuries on the disabled list right now with a hamstring pull.
They're going to restart him into baseball activities in late August, Pedroia. And the hope is that he's able to get back by September sometime. Xander Bogaerts. Fastball misses outside. On Monday, John Farrell had hernia surgery. Yesterday, he actually came to the ballpark, set his lineup, got his team ready, and then went back to the hotel. And you could just see the grimace on his face. That can't be a pleasant place to sit after hernia surgery, on a bench in a dugout. So you salute the manager of the Red Sox for gutting it out.
John Farrell in his third year as the Red Sox manager. Managed up in Toronto and was a longtime pitching coach for Boston.
Farrell probably wishes some of his players were as tough as he is right now. There's the 2-0. That one fouled back to the screen. And it's 2-1. Xander Bogaerts is a really nice young player. And we said it last night. There's a core of young players here in Boston that I think Red Sox fans have to be excited about. Bogaerts, a 22-year-old shortstop, a budding star. He was in the final vote for the All-Star game and was not selected.
There are a lot of people in Boston who felt he should have been the All-Star representative, but there were so many shortstops. And the fact that Brock Holt was hot at the time, the fact that he played so many positions, Ned Yost, the All-Star, American League All-Star manager, picked Holt and knew he had somebody he could use in lots of positions.
Conley misses in, and the count is 3-1. As we pointed out, Bogaerts eats left-handers alive. Close to 400 average on the year, 398. Rusney Castillo good against lefties. Jackie Bradley Jr. good against lefties. Hit hard at the shortstop, Echeverria. Gordon's turn is clean. And a 6-4-3 double play from Adam Conley. finishes the Red Sox in the first, underway, scoreless in Miami. Between Miami and Boston. Miami's lineup brought to you by JM Lexus. D. Gordon leads it off. Martin Prado right behind him. Derek Dietrich is in left. No Christian Yelich, still out with that bruised knee. Justin Bohr is at first base. Cole Gillespie up in the 5 spot. JT Real Muto hits 6th. Ichiro a nice night. He's in right. And Danny Echeverria in the 8th spot. Conley hits 9th. And D. Gordon takes a strike from Eduardo Rodriguez.
A little different challenge tonight. Remember last night the Marlins went up against the knuckleballer early on, but I thought they had some terrific at bats. The Marlins drew 9 walks in the game last night. There are the numbers on Eduardo Rodriguez.
Gordon fouls it back to the screen, and of course D. Gordon ignited that game-winning rally in the 10th. A triple into left center field, and he would score on the Justin Bohr hit, spiking his helmet before he scored. It's one thing we've seen with Gordon, no matter how bad the ball club has played this year and wherever they are in the standings, every night Gordon brings energy and focus to the game. Counts 2-2. 22-year-old on the mound. His first year in the big leagues. D. Gordon smokes it right field. That's deep, and it's gone. D. Gordon. The first home run out of a ballpark this year. His first was an inside the Parker.
D. Gordon hitting over 360 against lefties. I finally got one out.
He got the silent treatment and he ran right through it. Here's Prado now. Off a lefty as well.
Anytime D. Gordon hits one this way, he gets out of the box quickly. Just scrapes the padding. He was flying around first base, and as soon as he saw it go out, it's almost like he put the brakes on and went into the home run trot. All right, he's going hard. He's going hard. Okay.
That's his 6th career home run and his first against a lefty. Prado reaches out. Big poppy far from home. And Rodriguez gets there just as Prado does. Everybody's all right. And there's one out.
Take a look at Boston defensively in this game this afternoon. Brought to you by BMW. Jackie Bradley Jr., Mookie Betts, Rusney Castillo. Lots of speed in that outfield. Bogarts and Hold up the middle. Pablo Sandoval, David Ortiz at the corners, and Blake Swihart, the switch inning catcher behind the plate.
Derek Dietrich now. Dietrich 1 for 4 last night. He walked twice. As we noted last night, Dietrich is a guy that gets on base. A .373 on base percentage. His slugging percentage just a tick under 500 at .496. That one's out in front of the plate. A nice play by Swihart to get out there and throw him out.
That was a nice thing about some of the at-bats last night. Dietrich, as you mentioned, walked a couple of times. Justin Bour walked twice. Ichiro walked twice.
Now Bour up and in. Bour's RBI hit that ended it was off a lefty, Craig Breslow, who was in trying to prolong the night. Remember, the Red Sox bullpen undergoing some change with the injury to Koji Uehara. Junichi Tazawa tried unsuccessfully to get 3 outs without a run in the ninth. Bour's thrown out, but Miami is on the board. How about D. Gordon going yard to open this one up against a lefty? Only his 6th career home run. And it's 1-0. Sheffield, Lowell, Giancarlo, and they will all join us tonight. Mike Lowell in the 6th inning in the booth. Gary Sheffield in the 3rd inning in the booth. Giancarlo Stanton in the 5th inning from the dugout. Ortiz takes a mean swing and a miss. And Jeff Conine, during a ceremony in the 4th, will be all mic'd up. And we'll have Conine's reaction as well on Marlins Live postgame. One pitch. Ortiz turns on it and pulls it foul.
We have talked a little bit about it. We did so last night, that David Ortiz has struggled under 200 against lefties. However, lately that's been much better. He got off to a horrific start, and especially against left-handers.
Drills it right field and gone. Upper tank. And lately he is hitting lefties better. Big poppy.
Career home run number 490. Is a changeup taken to the deepest part, upper deck.
You can hear the reaction from the Red Sox fans, and even the Marlin fans probably let out a ooh. Great contrast between the 2 runs scored, right? Both home runs. One just skims the fence. The other skims the girders up above on the roof and lands, about 8 rows up in that upper deck.
Well, and number 6 for D. Gordon. And as mentioned, number 490 for David Ortiz.
Rusney Castillo, Boston's right fielder. You got Pablo Sandoval, Blake Swihart also coming up here in the 2nd. Conley misses down and in. The Marlins, because of injuries and because they've been at AAA, with 3 top prospects waiting at AAA, and they've all had a chance to pitch now in the rotation. Last night, Justin Nicolino got a start. We've seen Jose Urena pitch as well. Conley had the best numbers of the 3 in AAA this year. In fact, his ERA still leads the Pacific Coast League, and he started the Pacific Coast League All-Star game. Counts 3-2. That pitch just missed in.
Good fastball after the changeup prior to that.
Up the middle into center field, a base hit. So the Red Sox have opened the 2nd with a long, big poppy homer and a Rusney Castillo single.
If you break down the 3 young pitchers, Urena, Nicolino, and Conley, and then you realize why, probably a little more refined, a college side. He pitched in college out of Washington State.
Now Sandoval, and he takes outside. Pablo Sandoval has, for the time being, abandoned hitting from the right side, so no longer a switch hitter, and now against lefties stands in there left-handed.
He too struggled early on, batting lefty on lefty.
Runner goes, little hit and run, edge at the bag, got the out, nifty play, and it's a double play. He makes it look easy, does Adeiny Echevarria.
That was not easy. It took a lot of quick reactions and footwork. Get the left foot on the bag, get it out of there, and flip it to complete the double play. How about the Red Sox? A little hit and run with Pablo Sandoval, the hitter.
Well, it worked, except the ground ball went right to Echevarria. Here's Swihart. Conley throws a strike. Swihart, the young catcher. Last night, a tougher assignment catching the knuckleballer. Stephen Wright. The odd part about Conley's college career at Washington State, he was a closer. Marlins profiled him as a starter. Has said he'd like starting now. Has had a nice minor league career, although last year was kind of derailed and his arrival delayed by a couple of issues. Tendonitis in his elbow and a strained shoulder.
He's done a nice job moving up in the organization, though.
Echeverria deep in the hole. Wow, it's a heck of a play, but he's safe. He made him earn it, didn't he?
Just a great effort. We've seen Echeverria change directions, make that double play on the ball hit by Sandoval. Now he goes deep in the hole and almost throws out Blake Swihart.
Strike to Jackie Bradley Jr. Great career at South Carolina. Anytime your college career ends in a pile in Omaha, you've had a great year, right?
Yes, that's a good sign.
National champion 2010. He hit .368 and was the most outstanding player of that College World Series. Loop down the left field line. It's just foul. And the challenge for Jackie Bradley Jr. is translate the success he had in the minors to the big leagues. He got a taste of Boston in both 2013 and 2014. And in about 150, 160 games, he hit below 200.
Just trying to figure out, he may have crossed paths one year at University of South Carolina with Sam Dyson, Marlin, who was traded on to Texas.
Swing and a miss. Conley with a breaking ball. Big Poppy with a big fly. And that ties the game. It's 1-1. Big Papi, 490 of them. And when you put them side by side and compare, Tommy, I know it's apples to oranges, but it's still fun to look at it. Here you go.
Hey, it's fun to do.
See how far Big Papi's went. Now watch as D gets around third. D. Gordon is in the dugout by the time Big Papi is halfway home.
That's fun to watch.
Here's Cole Gillespie. And Gillespie takes ball one. JT Realmuto and Ichiro also up here in the second in a 1-1 ball game, finishing off a 2-game set. Marlins winners last night in extra innings.
Take a look at the scouting report on this 22-year-old. Very loose arm, lively sinker, good changeup. His fastball, one of those that appears a little faster sometimes because he has an easy delivery.
Gillespie pokes it foul. We talked about Cole Gillespie and his opportunity to play, not necessarily every day, but play as much as he had a chance in the big leagues for a while. And he's had a nice run.
They did a nice job last night in that 7th inning. In a sacrifice situation, he dropped down such a beautiful bunt. He ended up getting a base hit.
Some would say he's an average player, but he's actually playing above league average. A 290 average, 337 on base, 430 slugging. League average is 253, 314, and 392. So he's well above league average. Only way to guarantee access to the All-Star Game at Marlins Park in 2017. Place your 2016 Marlins season ticket deposit. Place it down now and join the Fish family today. Full season ticket plans start just $499. Start saving now. Call 1-877-MARLINS. That one smacked in the gap, left center field. Realmuto's got extra bases. And Gillespie is racing for third. And headed home. And JT Realmuto has a triple. Miami's back on top.
16 doubles, 6 triples for JT Realmuto. 4-game hitting streak now. Boy, he's been terrific. Jumps on the first pitch, no waiting. Fastball out over the plate, and he finds that left center field gap into that little opening there. That is triples territory.
6 triples for Realmuto this year. Ichiro bends out of the way. Top of the telecast. Tommy looked at last night and leadoff hitters getting on and leadoff hitters scoring. And it's happened here in the second. Walk to Gillespie, the triple by Realmuto.
Yeah, the Marlins 3 times last night. 6th inning, 7th inning, and the game winner in the 10th inning. Got that leadoff man on. And he came in to score.
2-1 to Ichiro. And the Marlins as a team walked 9 times last night. Ichiro had 2 of those. Middle infield back, corners in. Ichiro flips it to shallow center. In comes Betts, won't get it. It falls for a hit, and Realmuto scores. Ichiro with an RBI single, and it's 3-1 Miami. A reminder, you can go behind the scenes on social media with Fox Sports Florida and your favorite Marlins broadcast team all season long on Instagram and Twitter at Fox Marlins.
Boy, you love the count. Ichiro now 2,911 base hits. And by the way, the Marlins this year, when they get that leadoff man on, almost 15% of the time he scores. That's right at the league average. So they've done a pretty good job in that department.
got the ingredients here for a hit and run. Speed at first, and Echeverria, who can hit behind the runner. Has a 6-game hitting streak. Rodriguez. Rodriguez developed by the Orioles. Signed there in 2010 and came to Boston in the trade for Andrew Miller.
Saw those numbers with Echeverria, 45 RBIs, a career high in that department.
Just missed. And Etch has the count run to 3-1. This is the type of at bat that I think the Marlins would like to see Echeverria evolve into as his career gets a little further down the line. A little more patient, a little more selective.
A little run and hit on the 3-1 pitch. So you would expect if Ichiro was running on that 3-1 pitch, he'd be going 3-2.
He's running, and Etch pops it fouling out of play. Next inning, Gary Sheffield in the booth, part of Miami's franchise 4. Chef was a Marlin for 6 seasons. What 6 seasons those were. Some just incredible years. He hit 122 homers in those 6 years. Ichiro runs and is getting his workout.
Ichiro doing what you want to teach young players in this situation. Yes, you want to get a decent jump, but you don't want to approach it as if you're trying to steal the bag, because you don't want to get picked off. You're just trying to get yourself going, be on the move, and leave the rest up to the hitter.
The inning opened with a walk to Cole Gillespie. First pitch JT Realmuto saw. He smacked in the gap in left center. It got into the triangle. Realmuto had a triple. Ichiro runs, and that one's into right field. A base hit. On his way to third. The throw all the way to third. Ichiro's in there. Echeverria at first. And Miami's big inning continues.
You could clearly see, even with the count 3-2, the last couple of foul balls, Echeverria was trying to find that hole. He finally got a pitch down a little bit better. Shot it past Big Papi. Great hitting by Echeverria. Because he was on the move, Ichiro got over to third base. There's Ichiro. Run and hit. He has to pick up the ball. He does. Gets there plenty of time.
Look at the Fox tracks on this at bat. He finally got one into right field.
7-game hitting streak now for Echeverria. 112 hits on the year, and continues to tear it up when he's hitting in the number 8 spot.
Now Adam Conley is up. Now remember, when the Marlins were in Atlanta and Brad Hand was pitching, twice Hand came in this exact spot with runners at the corners, less than 2 outs, and both times he set down gorgeous bunts to score a run. Conley has already 3 sacrifice bunts to his credit. In 4 Major League plate appearances, he's 1 for 1 with 3 sacrifice bunts.
I would say that's pretty productive.
Yeah, let's see if he's bunting here. And if so, you want Ortiz to handle it. Counts 0-1.
Yeah, you want Ortiz to handle it just because he hasn't been out there that much as a first baseman. Usually he DHs. On the other hand, if you take it up the third base line, then Ichiro can follow Sandoval all the way in as well. So there are a couple of ways to approach this.
Ichiro taking a look at Lenny Harris. You got speed at first as well with Echeverria. 1-1 to Adam Conley. And a strike there. Conley in the minor leagues was 3 for 56. Of course, in the minor leagues, you don't start hitting as a pitcher until you get to Double-A, and a National League affiliate plays another National League team. So there's limited opportunities. Let's see if he is bunting again. D. Gordon's on deck. Sets it down and it bounces off of him. He's out. And it goes as a strikeout.
He'll go back and tell himself that he's had better efforts. It's always a little tougher lefty against lefty. Now he'll leave it up to the home run hitting D. Gordon.
D. Gordon bunts and scoring is Ichiro. Gordon is out in a bang-bang play. So Gordon figures he might try it, and it produces a run. Ichiro's across. Echeverria is at second. It's going to go as a sacrifice.
Pretty good recovery by Rodriguez, because you could see as soon as he was going after that bunt, out of the corner of his eye, you saw Ichiro coming in from third. Maybe a little peak, and the peak cost him a bobble, but he recovered nicely to get D at first base. But a good job. Marlins pick up another run.
You can hear Rodriguez had about 3 different things yelled at him, from home to first. So Echeverria is at second.
How about the Marlins leading RBI man in the month of August? D. Gordon. He has 2 in this one.
That's good news and bad news. It's good for D. Gordon. It's not necessarily good that others down in the lineup aren't having productive months.
He now has 10 RBIs in his last 10 games.
Prado sends that one off the end of the bat to center. Mookie Betts is there, makes the catch. Miami answers with 3 runs. Gary Sheffield joins us in the booth when we get back. for the Marlins starts with Gary Sheffield, who in his 6 years as a Marlin, an all-star, a world champion, put up incredible numbers, and he joins us now. Miami up here 4-1, and it's an honor to have you, Gary Sheffield, for the first time here at Marlins Park up in the booth. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm just glad to be back. The fans brought me back, and what a thrill. You know, I'm just happy to be here.
Now, you had a long Major League career, which started in Milwaukee, but your years here in Florida as a Florida Marlin were special.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I mean, coming to a team for the first time with everybody with the unknown, a brand new franchise, nobody knew what to expect. And Dave Dabrowski looked me in my eyes and said, give me 5 years, we win in the championship. And on the 5th year, we won the championship, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I thought this man was a psychic.
What was special? What was special to you about that '97 team?
It was just the camaraderie we had, the one-man, you know, think-alike attitude. Everybody in the room was pulling for each other. We all got along. We had some tough times, you know, early on because, you know, with a new team, you know, we put a bunch of guys on the team that was in other places. But when we came together as a team, when we brought Darren Dalton together and we got that leadership, it just took us over the top. We felt invincible at that time.
Rich, one thing that when you look over, and I want everybody to look over this guy's statistics. The thing that stands out to me is that a power hitter, you never struck out over 100 times.
No,
never struck out 100 times. You had an on-base percentage of almost 400.
Yeah.
You made contact.
Yeah, I actually, you know, I used to be embarrassed when I struck out, and I hated it so much. I was like, I would make sure certain guys didn't strike me out because I know they wanted to. And and it's funny because I was just talking.
Who in
about,
particular?
I can't say. But I was just talking about Stanton downstairs, and I was telling him, I said, man, I just want to get you to where you can own that strike zone, and your stats will go up 10 times fold, and you'll be one of the greatest home run hitters of all time.
D. Gordon makes that catch. That 97 team, you talked about Darren Dalton joining the team. The variety of personalities in that clubhouse was very interesting, and that was an interesting mix, both in the pitching staff, Kevin Brown in particular, Al Leiter,
That's two characters,
and then your everyday lineup, and even your bench guys.
Yeah, we had some wonderful guys, you know, but everybody had their own way of doing things, and I think when Darren Dalton came in, you know, he's a personable guy. And he's a hard-nosed guy, and he was able to step to anybody in any situation to get them on the same page as everybody else. And I think the timing was perfect.
Now, Gary, as I remember, and you've played for some great teams, including your Marlin years, Dodgers, Yankees, Braves, Tigers, Mets, Padres. I heard in an interview someone asked you about the Hall of Fame, and they asked you, if you go to the Hall of Fame, which team would you represent? And I heard you say Marlins.
Yeah.
And that surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, it did.
And when we get back, we'll find out why you said Marlins.
Absolutely.
Gary Sheffield, one of the franchise 4 with us here as the Marlins lead the Red Sox 4-1.
along here. As a 7-7 game turns to 10-7 and now more. Sheffield on the first pitch knocks home 2 more with a single to right.
People forget how cold it was in Cleveland in that World Series. Gary Sheffield is with us. How cold was it?
It was too cold. But, I mean, when you're in the World Series, it don't matter. It could have been colder, and it wouldn't have mattered. But, you know, I knew for the fans, and I was looking in their faces, they was hurt. But I said, you know, let's get this game over quick. But we got to put up a lot of runs. And after we get a lot of runs, we got to swing at the first pitch and get out of here.
Hey, you brought up a lot of the characters, the players on the 97 team. What about your skipper, Jim Leyland?
He was the best. I mean, Skipper, you know, he made his presence known the first day he walked in. He commanded the clubhouse, and he let everybody know who was the boss. And everybody got behind him, and we went out and played the hardest we could for him.
Derek Dietrich leading it off for Miami. 4-1 Fish on top. 22 seasons in the big leagues. Gary Sheffield hit 509 homers, 467 doubles, a .393 on base, your OPS 907. Those are Hall of Fame worthy numbers. Now, you said if you went in your 6 seasons as a Marlin, you'd like to go in as a Marlin. Why?
Well, you know, out of being on 8 different teams and being traded on several, this is the one trade that it never left my mind. It was one of those things where when I wind up playing somewhere else, my heart has always been here, and I couldn't shake it, no matter how I wanted to forget that I was traded at a place where I was going to eventually have 13 years worth of contract, and I didn't get to play but really 1 year on the new deal, and so I tried to forget it, but it never would leave, and I just always felt like I was just a part of this organization.
Bogarts makes the catch.
How'd you find out, Chef, about the franchise 4 that you were one of the 4?
A bunch of friends was calling me and congratulating me and telling me things about what I won, and somebody had voted for me, and I never heard of this. I never heard of you know, any 4 of anything. And I really didn't even go back and check on ESPN or anything to find out what was going on. I just let the process play out. And then my wife started telling me things and kind of educating me on what Major League Baseball just came up with. And I said, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I realized the fans did this. And that's what kind of made me get choked up a little bit because of the fans.
Cole Gillespie in the gap. And he arrives at second with a 2-out double. Miami got a D. Gordon homer in the first and added 3 runs in the second. Gillespie doubling here with 2 outs in the third. That brings up Real Muto, who tripled Gillespie home in that second inning. Gary Sheffield is with us. Later we'll have Mike Lowell, Jeff Conine, and for Giancarlo Stanton, the other member of the franchise 4. That's a pretty good quartet. That'd make a nice lineup. Who would hit cleanup in that lineup?
Well, big boy. The one Stanton got to hit 4. Because if he hit behind me, man, them numbers would have went even more.
You're thinking about hitting 3rd, yeah.
Hot smash on to 1st. Gary Sheffield, thank you for stopping by. Congratulations on being one of the franchise 4. And you know what? Every year with the Hall of Fame, if I had a vote, I'd vote for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot, man.
All right.
And all right, buddy.
Great visit, Jay.
Hey, let HUD have your glasses.
Oh, I like those.
Those are sweet. Look at that. Armed Forces Network, United States Armed Forces at sea, on land, all over the world. Welcome to Miami, and a special day today here. The World War II veterans on hand, the Spirit of 45. Here to watch a ball game.
And Arthur. Yeah, it's a wonderful game.
And they've got interleague baseball, so you who are watching on AFN getting a chance to look at National League East versus American League East, the Boston Red Sox, the Miami Marlins, from Marlins Park in Miami. Adam Conley misses.
Yeah, really special today, Rich, with about 40, 45 World War II veterans here at the ballpark.
Conley had a nice clean third. Bogarts, Ortiz, Castillo. Red Sox run a mammoth homer by David Ortiz in the second. So far, Adam Conley looks pretty smooth. He used double play balls in the first and the second to get out of trouble. It's a two-way street. The Marlins need help in the rotation, and some young starters would love an opportunity to prove that in 2016 they should be considered for that starting rotation. Bouncer up the middle, and a single for Xander Bogaerts. T-Mobile, every ball game invites you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Hashtag it FL Data Strong Fan. You might see yourself in an upcoming telecast. Big Papi, a majestic homer, a majestic home run trot. Home run 490 in his career. It's funny, you look at Big Papi's numbers, and Tommy, you were adding them up and talking about Hall of Fame. Line them up next to Sheffield's numbers. Gary Sheffield's OPS was over 900. Hit 509 homers. Was on base at a 393 clip.
Sheff with more RBIs. More home runs to this point.
So if there's no doubt that David Ortiz is a Hall of Famer.
It's a great point. Sheffield DH some, but was more of a position player in outfield. Remember, he came up as a teenage shortstop with Milwaukee.
Here's a 1-1. We have heard third basemen talk about their fear of Giancarlo Stanton when he's in the box and how deep they'll play. The only other guy I've heard in that same vein is Sheffield. From that era, third baseman in both leagues all did not want to be there when Sheffield was up because of his quick bat and how hard he hit the ball.
He had that distinctive style, the whip of the bat, the waggle. Gary Sheffield, not near as big a guy as Giancarlo, but strong in his arms, his lower half.
There's no question that you shift against David Ortiz, and he makes no bones about the fact that he's going to pull the ball. The Marlins have Prado and Gordon way over on that right side. Stanton continues to rehab that hand. Still no timetable for his return. Conley's 2-2. That's through the shift by Prado into center. Gillespie picks it up, and Boston's in business here in the fourth. At the corners and nobody out.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You pointed it out, Rich. There's everybody on the right side right in there. And what does Big Papi do? He finds this hole right up in this area. Hits it so hard, that's hitting it by and through the shift.
That ball actually went under the arm of Prado as he dove for it. Now Rusney Castillo, who singled in the second. Foul tip and then a love tap on the backswing that caught JT Realmuto. South Florida Honda dealers bring you Marlins live Friday night, 7:30, 8 o'clock game time. Craig and Carl in St. Louis to short. Echeverria. Gordon's turn is in time. Red Sox get the run. Miami gets 2 outs. And that's the third double play that Conley has induced.
He'll make that exchange most of the time. A couple of outs for a run.
Pablo Sandoval now. This is a guy that the Red Sox would like to get going, and certainly this year, but I mean, looking down the road, they owe him a lot of money for a lot of years, 4 more years after this. Swing and a miss. It's a guy whose numbers took a big leap in the postseason in San Francisco. 39 postseason games, 344, 389, 545, 6 homers, 13 doubles. Of course, World Series MVP in 2012.
A lot of people were surprised that he left the Bay Area, he left San Francisco.
Didn't sound like there was a whole lot of love lost on either side when he did leave.
Only from the marketing people with all the panda heads.
And the fans. I think the fans
like
like
the fans, yeah.
Sandoval walks and he's at first. Marlins Park offers a variety of suites located behind home plate along the first base line, and they can be rented for just 1 game. Suites accommodate groups from 16 to 70 guests, offer upscale contemporary furnishings, and feature great food and beverage options. 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/groups.
As you watch Adam Conley, his third pitch is that breaking ball. That's probably the one he needs the most work on and wants to refine that a little bit more. And always locating the fastball, working off that, using the changeup. And 91's about where his fastball sits.
Fastball changeup in his later college years were his best pitches. And his changeup, he actually developed an odd grip where he grips it and has a lot of pressure on the ring finger and the pinky finger. That pitch right there.
With good arm action.
See how far out in his hand that ball sits?
It almost looks like a split finger pitch between the outer fingers.
Good off speed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Conley, of course, in his first major league start, beat the Reds 14-3 with a ton of run support. He went 5 innings in that start. So this is second major league start, up 4-2 right now. Blake Swihart had an infield hit in the second.
Boy, he has confidence in that pitch. He threw a 3-2 changeup to Swihart right there.
Out to center, Gillespie and Gordon. It's Gordon who makes the catch. Boston gets a run, but Miami has the lead. After 3.5 on a franchise 4 day, it's 4-2 Fish. Conine, Gary Sheffield, Giancarlo Stanton, and Mike Lowell. It was interesting, Tommy. The ovation was large for Conine and Sheffield and Giancarlo Stanton. But Mike Lowell's had a little extra gusto because of all the Red Sox fans here.
Well, and also Mike Lowell, a local guy.
That's true.
Chef almost from the Tampa area.
Ichiro right now having a discussion with whom I'm not sure, whether it's the home plate umpire or the catcher, Blake Swihart. Counts 0-1. Ichiro hits it in the air, back behind second. It's caught there by Bogarts.
Yeah, I think Big Papi was part of the applause for Mikey Lowell. Having been teammates, World Series champions together.
Well, Lowell was the MVP of the World Series.
Yeah. That's why Big Papi was giving him a nice round of applause.
That's right. Here's Echeverria. 4-2 Miami. Eduardo Rodriguez pitching for the Red Sox. Marlins got to him right off the get-go. D. Gordon, of all people, hit one out. Just his 6th career home run. 3 runs in the second. Echeverria had a single to help that rally get rolling. Adam Conley on deck.
When you see Echeverria get that base hit the way he did last time up with Ichiro at first, opening over there, he was trying to hit the ball that way. That's what makes you think down the road, maybe number 2 spot in the batting order. But you know what? You hate to change it because he's been so comfortable hitting 8th. He still maintains an over 300 batting average hitting in the 8th spot.
Do you think to hit second he has to be a little more selective?
Yeah, I think that would help.
Well, Echeverria now is hitting 7 straight. His average has hovered just below 280 for the past 2 or 3 weeks. Pulls a bouncer to Sandoval, who gets the out. Check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you, Rich. The Marlins played a part in some baseball history last night. It's almost unbelievable to think this has never happened before, this many teams winning at home on the same day. But it's the most amount of home teams ever to win on one night. All 15. Never happened before. Winning for the first time ever. And of course the Marlins did it in walk-off fashion. Justin Bour playing a part. It was Seattle's walk-off win that capped off the night. The last time that many teams, all the home teams that is, on a single day won, it was 12 teams back in 1914. That's amazing history around Major League Baseball. You'd think it would have happened somewhere along the line, but no, that's a record. All 15 Major League home teams winning the ball game last night. Is there a home field advantage in baseball? I think so.
You know, I don't know if it is as great compared to other sports.
Conley up the middle, scooped up by Brock Holt. Eduardo Rodriguez has a brief 4th inning. To the 5th. Miami up 4-2. Chevy dealers. Visit your South Florida Chevy dealers today. By Checkers, epic meals, epic deals. By the all-new Ford F-150, the future of tough. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Visit us at Publix.com. Top 5, 4-2. Marlins on top of the Red Sox. Young lefties starting in this one. Eduardo Rodriguez for Boston. Adam Conley for Miami. On a franchise for afternoon. Quickly headed to nighttime here in Miami. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins and the franchise for may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Gary Sheffield, Jeff Conine, Giancarlo Stanton, and Mike Lowell.
We're talking, Rich, about the young pitchers getting an opportunity. It's kind of a good news, bad news. Bad news is that the ball club's in a position as they are. But the good news is that they're going to get a good look at Nicolino, at Conley, at Urania, at Brad Hand. And that just helps as you go into 2016.
Jackie Bradley Jr. into center field. I think the best thing that Adam Conley has done here today, Tommy, is manage the game. He hasn't panicked. He's been able to get double plays. Actually has 3 of them.
Talking about getting a little better command and handle on that breaking ball, 4 of the 7 hits have been by left-handed hitters. And I think when he does that, it'd be a little bit tougher on the lefties.
Good speed at first with Bradley. Conley goes over. You got Rodriguez trying to push him up with a bunt. Marlins are headed to beer country. Not bear country, beer country.
It's hard to escape it. It's St. Louis and Milwaukee.
Yes, yes it is. There's this, I guess, distinctive difference in the cuisine in those 2 cities, but the beverage of choice is pretty clear. Budweiser in St. Louis, Miller in Milwaukee, and on the road trip, first you go to Busch Stadium.
Got the statues outside the stadium.
Ballpark Village is out there as well. Jaime Garcia, Jason Hayward, Colton Wong. That's a Friday through Sunday. Fonzie in Milwaukee. The Racing Sausages.
The Tailgaters.
Yeah. The Pfister Hotel, one of the great haunted hotels in Major League Baseball. So it's a fun road trip. We'll be ordering our annual cheese wheel in Milwaukee. Runner goes, great jump. There's the bunt. No one's at third right now. Prado flips it, and 2 Marlins retreat to the bag. Red Sox get that runner across. Bradley now in second. That's the top of the order. Mookie Betts and Brock Holt. And this is the part of the game that Adam Conley has excelled at. Just 1-1-2-3 inning. He's had base runners and movement in the other 3.
That's one of the reasons Brad Conley pitch count has grown into the 80s at this point.
Ichiro. And there's 2 outs. So Brock Holt for the Red Sox now. Boston 13 under in that American League East, which certainly has taken an interesting turn over the last 2 weeks at the top, with the Toronto Blue Jays charging. Blue Jays a 9-game win streak going into play today. And the Yankees, rather large lead is melted down to just half a game.
We're talking about all those home wins, every home team winning in baseball yesterday. The Yankees in Cleveland, it took the Indians 16 innings to nail that one down.
How about Arizona's win over Philly? They had 11 runs in the second inning.
The Phillies, in the first 2 games of that series in Arizona, have given up 13 runs each of the first 2 games.
Arizona had an 11-run second. Big lead by Bradley. Pitch misses outside. We've already had Gary Sheffield in the booth. Mike Lowell will be joining us next half inning. By the way, the Phillies starter last night, David Buchanan, all 11 runs charged to his line.
Ouch.
Inning and 2/3, 11 hits, 11 runs. Strike to Holt. Lots of baseball tonight. Full schedule again in Major League Baseball on this Wednesday. And some afternoon games going right now. The Phillies are down 4-3 to the Diamondbacks in Arizona. Soft looper, that's going to fall, and Boston is within a run. Bradley scores. Brock Holt, his second hit.
And another hit by a left-handed hitter. So 5 of the 8 hits, Holt has 2. Big Papi has 2. Not a bad pitch. He didn't hit it all that hard, but just in the right spot to pick up the Red Sox 3rd run.
Miami's bullpen in motion, and now Dan Jennings in motion. And for Adam Conley, who's been in the bullpen, trying to stretch it and get through 5. Dan Jennings going to go to that pen. 87 pitches, and Conley is done. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Adam Conley just couldn't get across the 5th inning line to get himself in line for a win. Dan Jennings getting Kyle Bearclaw into the game. He's got Xander Bogaerts coming up. As we've detailed the last 2 nights, Bogaerts has had great success against lefties, leading average in baseball, 400 against lefties this year. And now that it's a 1-run game and you've got Holtz at first, Miami just trying to get out of this inning.
The 2 previous outings, we've seen Bearclaw. Good stuff, good live arm. He's come in, he's throwing strikes. This is one of those situations that gets discussed a lot around baseball. We were talking about the young starters, Nicolino, Conley, Urania, and how they're a little bit going to be checked out over the next couple of months to see what they can do. Part of you would say, let's see how he can get out of this situation. See if he can make some pitches to Bogaerts. Then the other part of you says, try to win this game. Bring in the right-hander, get Bogaerts, who's hitting lefties so well.
Well, one part also may say that since he's been here in August, Conley's been in the pen, and he really hasn't been stretched out a whole lot. He went 3 innings his last time out, 2, and then 2 1/3 the other 2 appearances. So
you throw all those parts together, and you make the decision. I think in the minor leagues and I don't think it happens as much as it should, but I think in the minor leagues is where that young pitcher, if all falls in place with pitches and pitch count and all that, where that young pitcher should learn how to get out of situations.
Bearclaw, who is the Double-A closer for the Cardinals, getting a taste here now in the big leagues with the Marlins. Santa Clara, California. It's college ball at St. Mary's. That's the conundrum, isn't it, though, Hut? You know, minor league arms. Do you protect them? Do you expose them? Do you overwork them? It's hard.
There's got to be a fine line. I don't think you overwork them, but I think you have to expose them to situations and how to work out of situations. And I think so often they're just protected. In an age where there's more Tommy John surgeries than any time in our history.
So maybe they're not protecting them by protecting them.
Please, they can't protect them anymore. We'll have starters going 3 innings.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying maybe by protecting them, they're doing more harm than good. I don't think anybody has the answer. That's the hard part right now. Line to right, Bogaerts. Ichiro trying to cut it off. Got a piece. Racing is Holt for third. On his way home, and he's going to score. And just like that, Boston has tied this ball game. Had Ichiro come up with it cleanly, that might have stopped Holt's charge for the plate.
Tell you what, this guy's been impressive. Xander Bogaerts, remember that name. He's upped his average, came into the game. Look at a high fastball. He stays on top of it. Beautiful swing, and you're right about Ichiro. Not an easy play, tough play. It's going to be a double. It's an RBI. and Xander Bogaerts continues to impress.
Marlins are going to walk David Ortiz, much to the delight of Red Sox fans here.
Red Sox Nation has migrated to South Florida.
That's not Big Papi. Now that's Big Papi. Ortiz to first. Bogaerts still at second. And Rusney Castillo comes up. Castillo, an exciting Cuban player. When he signed his contract, it was the most for any Cuban free agent. $72.5 million for 7 years. Ball bounced before it got to Real Muto.
Castillo spent 40 games in AAA this year. It's an interesting conversation when you start talking about the money that has been distributed to some of the Cuban players. You can go and talk about a half dozen names. You'll have some organizations who will say, no, I don't think that's way too much. I don't think he's going to be this. And you can go to another organization and they can give a Rusney Castillo $75 million.
Part of it, I think, is scouting and profiling the international experience of a Cuban player into the major leagues.
Yeah, because of the league and the competition they play against.
Bear claw misses in. It's 2-2. Castillo has just turned 28. Swing and a miss. Long inning is over. 2 more runs for the Red Sox. Mike Lowell when we return. It's 4-4 here. Legend Mike Lowell, hometown kid. And when he got on the big stage, he shined. Silver Slugger, Gold Glover, All-Star, two-time world champ. And he joins us now.
Make me feel good. You make me feel good, Rich. Thank you.
Looking good, too.
Yeah, congratulations on being named franchise four. That's a nice honor. You were in tall cotton down there. Some good company in that batting order.
Very good company. I mean, you talk about Niner, and I think Niner's a low man on the totem pole. I'm putting the two monsters, Sheffield and Giancarlo, you know, in thick of the lineup, and I guess Conine and I can set the table.
D. Gordon, who homered to start this ball game, sends a deep one to center.
He's showing some pop. Not afraid. I like it.
There you are.
Very nice.
That's a good group and a nice honor, isn't it?
Really is.
Yeah.
Really is. You know, I think you get. I think when you look at Jeff Conine, he's kind of like the face of you know, the beginning of the franchise, and I think Gary was the guy that basically was the first superstar to really put the team on the map. And I'm kind of the hometown guy, and then Giancarlo I think is going to surpass everyone. You know, and so yeah, it's kind of a cool mix and definitely a nice honor.
Your first year as a pro, and you'd already attended some Marlins games, hadn't you, before you signed?
A couple, yeah. I know. I grew up a Phillies fan, so I remember the first year, someone gave me tickets to a Phillies game. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, because growing up, I don't know, for me growing up here, I would put the guys on a pedestal because what I saw was, you know, the game of the week, or you read the newspaper. So watching Major League Baseball, heck, what, 93, Tommy? I'm a freshman in college. So, you know, it was still at that age, it was a really cool thing to be able to come to a
up
park.
at FIU.
Trying, yeah, with that aluminum bat. I wish I could go back to that.
Martin Prado, busted bat there. He's thrown out at first base.
You had a chance to be on two different world championship teams. Kind of break down the differences in the two clubs.
Very different, Tommy. I think with the Marlins, what was really cool about it was I don't think anyone expected us to even make the playoffs. So just by making the playoffs was like, hey, we proved a lot of people wrong. And, you know, our first round was against the Giants. And if I'm correct, the Giants went to the World Series the year before. So, you know, there was no way we were going to beat the Giants. So we beat them. Then the Cubs, I think everyone wanted to see the Cinderella story, and except us here in South Florida. And just the whole down 3-1, Bartman, all that song and dance was pretty exciting. And then there's definitely no way we're going to beat the Yankees in the World Series. You know, so it was a really cool thing of proving people wrong each step of the way. And when I went over to Boston in 07, it's almost as if you don't win the World Series, you're a disappointment. So to have expectations that are so high and fulfill them, I think is equally rewarding in a different way.
Derek Dietrich, and that one run down in right by Rusney Castillo. Mike Lowell will return. So were the Red Sox and the Marlins. 4-4. ticketing updates, breaking news, all the information relating to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, All-Star Week events. Will be held at Marlins Park July 2017. Marlins.com/ASG. The Clevelanders should be a hopping place during the All-Star Game. Mike Gold joins us.
Venture out and say yes. That's probably going to be an exciting time.
Just the fact that the All-Star Game is coming here. Now, it was supposed to come in the old ballpark, but that never really happened. And I have a hard time calling the old place a ballpark. It was essentially a football stadium. But it was home to you.
Sure.
And home to some great memories and 2 world championships.
And I still remember being in the clubhouse when we heard the news that they kind of took away the All-Star Game. And I'm sure the front office didn't like that. I think it's more of a hit for them. But I don't know. I think Major League Baseball sent a message too. You know, that we kind of run the ship, and if you don't do what we like, well, we can change things. But I'm really happy it's coming here. It's going to be a cool thing.
Hey, we had a shot. We didn't show it. I think Rich and I were looking at it in between innings the other day of the hidden ball trick that you pulled off. Because it fooled everybody.
You did it twice, didn't you?
You know, I get credit for doing it a second time, but I think we were in Toronto and someone slid, and you know, one of those little pop-up slides, and I kept my glove on it.
Now this
was a true one.
Yes.
And
so tell us what happened, because we missed it.
This goes a little back because the guy on second, Luis Torreira, was a good prospect, but kind of like a little showy, and you know, and right there I remember Todd Jones is behind home plate, so I just kind of walked over and I noticed that the third base coach and the runner were just looking down. So I said, well, I'm going to wait till Jonesy gets to the mound. I was just hoping that he knew the rule, because I was like, man, I don't want him to step on the mound and then I look like the idiot trying to do something. And I didn't say anything to Torreira. It's not like I said, hey, you know, what kind of shoes are those or anything like that. You know, I was just quiet. I didn't say a word. And Jonesy starts walking around, and 2 things happened that actually made it work out. Ed Rapirano was a third base umpire. And when I showed him, I flashed my glove at him.
So he knew.
He knew, and he nodded to me saying, like, I know you got the ball. So I was like, okay. And then when Jonesy starts walking back, he starts stretching. I don't think Todd Jones stretched all year, but right there he starts touching his toes, all this. So I was like, there's about 3 seconds left here. So sure enough, he steps off. I tag him. So I go in the dugout. I said, Jonesy, what were you going to do next? He goes, I think I was going to start doing cartwheels or something to get his attention. So it wasn't planned, but it was just, I don't know, the circumstance just played out. I never really thought about doing it, but it was more of that Todd Jones was so far behind home plate that I didn't want to throw it from, you know, third base to him, and I was just going to wait for him to go up, and things just kind of panned out. So I guess I'll take it.
Blake Swihart. Kyle Bearclaw into his second inning in relief. Chris Narveson in Miami's bullpen right now.
Mikey, with the work you do on MLB Network, how much do you get to follow what the Marlins are doing?
Well, I'd say I follow the Marlins probably more than any other team, because when you're kind of flashing through channels locally, you know it's always on, which is great. So I think since I don't go so often, I go about once a month for between a 3 and 5 day hit. I got to kind of do my homework the first 2 days, you know, the 2 days prior that I get there, because, you know, West Coast teams and, you know, being on the East Coast, it's not like I'm not staying up till 2 in the morning to see how the bullpen of the Mariners is doing, you know, so you got to do your homework. But I said it earlier today that if I'm going to pay money to watch a team, there's 3 things that I like, and for me the Marlins have all 3 of those things. I want to see someone that's going to hit the ball further than you've usually ever seen, someone that wows you, and Stan obviously is that. And then I'd like to see a pitcher have stuff that you don't see every day, and Jose Fernandez has that. So those are 2 things. And for me, I've always, since I was never a speed guy and that was never a part of my game, I loved it when Juan Pierre and Luis Castillo were these guys that you knew at any time they could steal. And then with Boston, Jacoby Ellsbury was that, and D. Gordon's that. So for me, that's, you know, 3 pieces that are exciting for me when I go see a game. And I'm more the guy, I'd rather see offense as a position player than a pitcher, but I can appreciate a good pitching matchup. But I want to be excited to see things that you just don't see every day. So that's what makes it exciting for me, at least to catch those at bats. And hopefully those are pieces that people can build on and then surround themselves with other key players and see if the organization can return to winning ways, I guess.
Do you like MLB Network? Do you like broadcasting? Would you like to expand it in other areas?
Yes, I do like it. First of all, I really enjoy it because I'm kind of spoiled because I feel like it's almost baseball, ADD baseball, because all the exciting stuff, they're throwing it at us all the time. So we get to see the live look-ins and stuff where you can kind of jump into any game when a good matchup is up. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if I would be really good at doing 9 innings of a game, just because maybe I've been spoiled, and you get all the exciting stuff. But I appreciate what you guys do because there's always a 2-inning lull where things are a little slow, and I don't.
And then we have guests.
Well, you got to slum it up with guys coming in the booth. But I don't know. I feel like I would have to try to fill the airwaves, and I don't want to just be talking just for the sake of talking. And I think it's something you definitely have to work at, and to make it interesting for anyone.
Kyle Bearclaw, a couple strikeouts, got Swihart, and now Bradley, and he's got 2 outs in the 6th.
This is off in a completely other direction, but with the guys that went in the Hall of Fame this year, this had to be interesting for players of your era because you knew all those guys. You played against them, with them.
Absolutely.
It had to be interesting.
I thought it was, when people ask me who are the best pitchers I've ever faced, and for me, the best stuff hands down that I ever faced was Pedro Martinez. I thought I don't know, it starts from that he wasn't very impressive on the mound physically, and then it was just the stuff that comes out of the sky was so good. But the toughest matchup, I would tell people, for me was when John Smoltz was a closer. Like, I thought that was the toughest pitcher because since he knew he had 1 inning to go, it was 98 fastball, 92 split, 91 slider. And you almost feel like calling time and say, hey, John, can you slow it down for me? And then Randy Johnson is, in the league on his own, how dominant he was. So the fact that I could actually brag to my kids and hopefully one day that I got hits off all of them, some more than others, is kind of cool. But it was definitely a class from a pitching wise. I don't want to shortchange someone like Biggio because his career was outstanding, but someone that I had to literally almost one-on-one compete against, I thought those 3 were hands down probably some of the best of a generation, really.
You're really a unique major league player in a sense that you grew up here, Coral Gables High School, FIU, Marlins World Championship. Now you get to live here. That doesn't happen very often with major league players.
No, and I feel very spoiled and very fortunate. I still remember I was jealous of Randall Hill because we went to high school here, went to UM, and the Dolphins draft. And I said, man, how great would it be that you could play every. And for me, it wasn't even a thought growing up because the Marlins didn't exist. So I have to thank my lucky stars that my career panned out the way it did.
Eduardo Rodriguez giving it his best go here against Kyle Bearclaw with 2 outs in the 6th in a 4-4 ball game. And he got him. Congratulations on being a member of the franchise.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Don't be a stranger. Come by anytime.
You got it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
He's Mike Lowell. He's a hometown guy and one of our favorites. by land, ships at sea, all across this globe. United States Armed Forces serving around the world. And today's a special day here, the spirit of 45, World War II veterans. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Yes, Amanda representing, I guess, a lady from the 30s, 40s, and the vets are here with their caregivers. Two special vets we're going to talk with here. Leo Gray in a prestigious air group, Tuskegee Airmen, the Red Pilots, Red Tail Pilots.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What a group you were in there. 91 years old and doing great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Tell me about those days and the social implications and the Tuskegee group you were with.
Well, they said that we couldn't fly, and black men couldn't fly, but after the results of the Red Tail Pilots of the 332nd Fighter Group, they were all part of the original Tuskegee Airmen. They had such a successful combat experience. We had the best record of defending bombers of any of the fighter groups in World War II.
Very neat. Justin Bohr getting that base hit, and what a great day for you guys to be honored. I know it's special for you.
Yes, it is very special. We were honored, and I was awed, really, with throwing out that pitch. I hadn't thrown a ball. God, I can't remember when the last time I threw a ball.
You're showing it now. Were you nervous?
No, I wasn't nervous, but I had to I didn't have any practice throwing the ball, and it didn't go as far as I would have liked it to go.
Believe me, we're all pressed and honored to have you in our company. Bill Schwartz, U.S. Army, and Honor Flight brings you guys to places, Bill, and they had a chance to fly the veterans free of charge to D.C., and you get really a hero's both welcome and reception everywhere you go. What was that like when you came back?
Fantastic welcome. Unbelievable to see hundreds and hundreds of people congratulating us and thanking us for our service, all the way from the gate to the exit of the airport. Hundreds of people, children, adults.
This is a few years ago, recently.
Just last year.
And the firemen were there with the water, and then
thousands squirting their hoses right over the planes. I mean, it was like, how do we deserve this? We just did our job. That's all we did.
You know you deserve it. You did a tremendous duty, and there's a lot of emotion up here today because you guys are the greatest generation. How honored are you to be that?
There's a lot of wonderful people. You just interviewed a very wonderful man from the Tuskegee Squadron. Those people saved a lot of our lives. They were escort fighters for the bombers. They never lost a bomber. That's the only flight mission that never lost a bomber. That's a hero.
You guys are all heroes. Thanks a lot, Bill. Great to see you. You're a big Marlins fan, too. I think the Marlins are honoring you now with this
coming back
rally.
Coming back.
Enjoy watching the fish?
Oh, I love it. It's great. Thank you for moderating the games, too.
You got it. Okay. Let's go back to you guys, huh?
I don't know, Craig. Not only are the Marlins had a couple of hits during that interview, but that's one of the better interviews. Just the subject and the individuals and the stories. That's tremendous.
Yeah, it makes you proud of where you live in the United States.
Happy to have him at the ball game today. JT Realmuto is up.
By the way, the base hit by Cole Gillespie, his second hit. He has had now a career high 4 consecutive multi-hit games.
Realmuto flips it foul. JT a triple and a bouncer to short. Had a couple of hits last night.
You know, we talked about JT and his triples, the job that he's done. 16 doubles, the most doubles for a Marlin rookie catcher. He's surpassed Charles Johnson.
Double barrel action in Boston's pen. Robbie Ross Jr., Ryan Cook.
Just to show you the effort these guys put in on a daily basis. Here it is, an earlier start. We're in August. And after batting practice, JT Realmuto in the cage working on his catching skills and blocking balls, framing pitches.
Count 2-2. That's by Big Papi and down the line. Bohr around third. He's going to score. The throw comes all the way home for some reason. And ending up at second is JT Realmuto. Rusney Castillo took a shot at home. And the Red Sox let the Marlins get an extra base.
JT had a plan. You could see him on pitches away every time he was trying to go the other way. He did so, stung it past Ortiz. And then alertly, as he rounded first base, he saw where this throw was going. Peek over his shoulder. He's credited with a single. He takes second on the throw. Some outstanding base running by JT Realmuto, not to mention outstanding hitting.
He picks up an RBI, and Miami is back on top by a score of 5-4. Carl Willis, pitching coach of the Red Sox, out to talk to his 22-year-old lefty Eduardo Rodriguez. In baseball today, in Seattle, an afternoon game, they're going to the 9th inning. Masashi Iwakuma has a no-hitter. He's gone 8 innings, struck out 7. He's thrown 107 pitches. 70 of those for strikes, and he'll face 9-1-2 in the Baltimore order in the top of the 9th. We'll keep you updated on that. We'll give you a highlight or two on Marlins Live as well. Infield's in. Ichiro dances out of the way. And it's 1-0.
They talked about pitching coach Carl Willis going out to talk to the left-hander. He became a left-hander because he broke his right arm when he was a 7-year-old. Wanted to keep playing, so started throwing left-handed.
You know, standing about 60 feet from him was a guy that threw left-handed, Pablo Sandoval, and then changed to throw right-handed because he wanted to be a catcher when there were no left-handed catchers. Ichiro, that's by Ortiz. Down the line it goes. Gillespie scores. Realmuto scores. Ichiro still running. And he's got himself a triple. And Miami's lead is 7-4.
Over the last 2 or 3 games, we've seen Ichiro really try to pull a lot of pitches. He said, okay, I'm going to take advantage of Big Papi playing first base. JT Realmuto got one by him. Ichiro gets one by him and then has to jump over Big Papi as he rounds first base. It's a great sight. Big Papi laid out after a dive. Here goes Ichiro. He just gets over him and ends up with a triple and 2 RBIs.
That's 4 triples for Ichiro on the season. And the pitching change comes for Boston. Have a 7-4 lead. 4 consecutive hits open this 6th, and 3 runs have come across. Brian Cook for the Red Sox arrives on the scene. The Red Sox pen certainly has plenty of question marks, and Cook has been one of them with an ERA of over 8.
6 pitchers came out of that pen for the Red Sox last night. Cook was one of them. He worked an inning.
Now Echeverria. Infield's in. Ichiro's at third. Twice in this inning, the Marlins have smacked balls by a sprawling David Ortiz, who does not play a lot of first base. He's their usual DH. Sashi Iwakuma has thrown a no-hitter for Seattle. It's official, and Echeverria in the center. That's a base hit. 5 consecutive hits for Miami here in the 6th inning.
Echeverria had a big sacrifice fly last night in the 9th inning. 2nd hit today. Just another beautiful at-bat and approach. Middle of the plate. Stays back. Line shot.
This is the pitcher spot in the order, and Casey McGee's going to get the at-bat. Echeverria the runner at first. That is the 5th no-hitter in Seattle history. Watching the scene unfold on our monitor up here in the booth. We'll have some highlights of that when we get back after this half-inning break and on Marlins Live tonight.
Got a chance to see Logan Morrison playing first base in that game.
Chance to win 2 here against the Red Sox before the Marlins head to St. Louis and Milwaukee. Randy Johnson, Chris Bosio, Felix Hernandez, which was a perfect game. Now Iwakuma. Remember, Seattle had that 6-pitcher combined no-hitter back in 2012. Casey McGee with a deep breath back in with a 1-2 count. The inning opened with singles. Justin Bour, Cole Gillespie, Real Muto an RBI single. Ichiro a 2-run triple. Pitches up and no throw. Echeverria with a head-first slide has got the bag.
Love to see this, and you pointed it out earlier talking about D. Gordon. But it's one thing you have to appreciate about this ball club. They continue to play hard. Ed's picking up the stolen base. Fingers up. Protect those hands.
Casey McGee goes down. Data Strong fan photo brought to you by T-Mobile. Our winner is Steve. Like it. Look at Steve. Look at the glasses he's got going on there. We got Marlins glasses, Marlins memorabilia.
Trying to tell if that's a golf grip on the handle or a nice batting grip.
No, that's a 2-strike. He's choked up just a little bit. That's a good look. And of course, it's brought to you by T-Mobile.
You realize, Rich, that Dee Gordon, who got this game started with a leadoff home run, the last Marlin to hit a leadoff home run was in 2014 in May. Christian Yelich in San Francisco.
Gordon also has a safety squeeze bunt. Went as a sacrifice and drove in a run in the second. And he's flied to deep center. So he swung the bat well, handled it well. Looking at an 0-2 pitch from Ryan Cook. Puts it in play to short. Bogarts. He's safe.
The little tap of the glove cost Bogarts.
Dee Gordon, an infield hit. Boston will probably look at the replay, but naked eye looked like he was crossed.
Ball took a funny little hop. He had to backhand it. Watch that. There's the tap. You do that with Dee Gordon, and it cost him. He's safe. Great job. Another example, going hard all the way.
That puts runners at the corners. And here is Prado.
Prado and Dietrich.
Gordon runs. Pitches up. Gordon has the bag.
Prado and Dietrich, the only regulars in the starting 8 today without a base hit.
.35 on the season now for Gordon. Infield in, 1 out.
You've pointed out a few times there are a number of Red Sox fans here, quite a few. They've had a disappointing season, and they're seeing their team getting outplayed, especially in this one today.
Called strike. Prado didn't like it. And that's why just is on the very edge. Prado finds right field. Echeverria scores. Gordon holds third. And Miami's big inning continues. 9-4.
And Martin Prado joins the party with a base hit. Perfectly placed. Pitches out away from him. Taps it past Brock Holt, the second baseman.
7 hits in the inning. 5 runs in the inning. This was a 4-4 game when the bottom of the 6th hit. Derek Dietrich, an 0 for 3, as Tommy pointed out. He'd like to join in. A dozen hits to go with 9 runs. And Dietrich has a hit. Gordon scores. And the Marlins have busted this open.
Well, as they say, keep the line moving. And the line has been moving the entire inning. Marlins have batted around. Justin Bour is next. He started things with a single. too often does a team bat around where everybody, with the exception of Casey McGee, the pinch hitter, everybody has a base hit.
Boston going to their bullpen. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. With a big inning here in the 6th. Not done yet. Justin Bour is the hitter. 9 Marlins have come to the plate. Bour led off the inning with a single. 8 hits. Bour under it, a high pop. Holt out, Castillo in. It's Castillo who makes the catch.
Boy, this ball game so far, Rich, the Marlins with their 13 base hits have gone 7 for 11 with runners in scoring position.
Robbie Ross Jr., the lefty out of the pen. He's been shuttling between Boston and Pawtucket all season long. This is the 5th time he's been up from the minor league team. Good day for Gillespie, and his numbers continue to grow and impress. Double, single, walk. And a bouncer in the hole at short. Safe there. That's another base hit for Gillespie.
That's a play too where you want to, and I'm sure Gillespie will, you want to pat your teammate Derek Dietrich on the back. With his hustle, he beats that throw. Everybody's safe. Gillespie gets the base hit.
Real Muto, left field and deep. Real Muto, gone! Grand slam! It is a blowout. grand slam homer in a game where he has tripled and singled as well.
JT Realmuto, a double from the cycle. What an afternoon he's had. 6 RBIs in the ball game.
This is a 10-run inning now. And here's Ichiro, who had his 5th triple of the season earlier this inning. Slow bouncer to short. Bogarts has it. Gets the out barely. Miami scores 10 times.
Give him a standing ovation. Go ahead, stand up.
The season in hard hit outs. As his hitting coach Frank Menachino said, the young man has shown an immense amount of patience. He's continued with his approach, and the results today certainly are there. 3 hits. All 3 of them drove in runs. He's driven in a total of 6 runs, a grand slam, an RBI triple, RBI single. Chris Narveson out of Miami's pen.
I think just by what JT has done, how he's progressed, what he's gone through as a rookie at a demanding position, tells a whole lot about the young man.
Mookie Betts. Now the Marlins are hopeful that their bullpen can bring it home. This would be the first major league win for Kyle Bearclaw, if indeed the Marlins hang on to a 14-4 lead. That was sarcasm. Starts in the top of the 7th. Betts, Holt, Bogarts. And Narveson misses in. Adam Conley started this ball game. Couldn't quite get over that 5-inning threshold. 4 2/3. Long run. Prado's there, and he makes the catch, and Echeverria nudges him at the end there. So an out in the 7th. It's a family celebration, networking event, fundraiser for your organization. You can bring your next group to Marlins Park. All new food and beverage options, including VIP groups. All you can eat seats to the new Clevelander Sunday brunch with $5 mimosas, people. 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/groups. Brock Holt, the hitter for Boston.
I think with with Conine, with Stanton, Sheffield, and Lowell in the house. They have brought out the offense.
Red Sox themselves have 9 hits and 4 runs. Red Sox box. The Ortiz homer was a mammoth clout. Well up, halfway up the second deck in right field. Now Bearclaw went an inning in the third, gave up a hit, walked 2, struck out 4. All 4 runs went on Conley's line. Holt jogs down to first. Now Bogarts. Marlins haven't seen a lot of him. This is game 4. There were 2 in Boston, 2 here. But from what they've seen, from what we've seen, Bogarts is going to be star in the American League for some time. Very good defensively. Offensively, you can see him start to blossom. His 25th double in the 5th inning.
He's been playing a solid shortstop for the Red Sox. Just 7 errors this year.
Narvis at a breaking ball. Bogarts missed it.
Big curveball really fooled him and had him out front. Starts at the letters, ends up at the ankles.
Now Ortiz, who was homered, singled, and was intentionally walked. Watch where this lands.
Number 490 in his career. 24 on the year. Wow, halfway up.
He hits another one to deep right. That one's gone. Add 1 to that total, Tommy.
Of a different variety. That one a line drive shot. Number 491.
That's a 2-run shot. It's 14-6.
Big Papi's had 14 consecutive years of 20 doubles and 20 or more home runs.
He's got 25 now on the season. He's driven in 68. Chavarria to first in time. lot of runs in that inning. The Marlins put 10 up. The Red Sox put 2 up. And the 7th inning stretch here in Miami. To all of you on AFN, American Forces Network, and to those World War II veterans here at Marlins Park, we'll all stand up with you for God Bless America.
America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Yeah. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Let's hear it for Geraldine Martin. All right.
Top, bottom of the 7th. Robbie Ross Jr. stays into the ball game for the Red Sox. Manny Echeverria leads it off. Travis Shaw is at first. There's a look at Shaw. 2 home runs from David Ortiz. Ortiz, 29th in Major League history. He is now 2 behind Lou Gehrig and Fred McGriff, who are tied at 493. We had Gary Sheffield on earlier. Chef, of course, ahead of him. Fastball is up. Sheffield, 509 home runs. Echeverria fouls it back. And Andy Echeverria in this one has a couple of singles. He's driven in a run. He's stolen a base. There's your Marlins box score, and there's a lot of damage. See Cole Gillespie in the middle there. Real Muto's grand slam. Ross elevates and gets Echeverria. All right, here's your Big Papi home runs. You history buffs, you.
One more of the majestic variety, the other more of a line drive shot.
Our Geico moment on this date. David Ortiz hit a pair of 3-run homers in a Red Sox win.
By the way, Rich,
look at the score of that game, Hut. 1917.
Wow. The second time in Marlins history they have had a 10-run inning. And the last time was in July of 2009 in Arizona.
Narveson strikes out. Here comes D. Gordon. Masashi Iwakuma of Seattle has thrown a no-hitter. And D. Gordon has hit a home run, and that doesn't happen very often. This is just his 6th career. He had an inside the Parker for the Marlins earlier this year, and our Warren Henry drive in the game. Watch this. He got the silent treatment. He came into the dugout. Watch.
Hey, he didn't care. The previous 5 home runs all off right-handers.
He sounded like a little leaguer who had just hit his first home run, right? Raced down the dugout, down the steps towards the clubhouse.
Notice he had the bat in his hand, too.
Two for 3 day for Gordon. And he lines one into left field for a hit. Now it's 14-6, and you may be flipping the channels and saying, well, you know, it's a blowout. I'm out of here. JT Real Muto is a double shy of the cycle. He's got the triple and drove in a run. He's got the homer, which was a grand slam, and he's got an RBI single. Real Muto has 16 doubles this year. And so Gordon's base hit. The Marlins hitting here in the 7th could use another base runner to ensure a Real Muto at bat.
Just like that.
There you go.
By the way, on the year for JT, 7 home runs now. The triple gives him 6. And we've talked about the fact that he has 16 doubles.
Here now is Dietrich. That pops out of the glove of Blake Swihart. Gordon and Prado move up 90 apiece. That's a tough pass ball.
Yeah, it is. It's one that probably could have gone either way.
2-1. So Real Muto's got a shot at the cycle. The Marlins have scored 14 runs on 17 hits.
It's the 4th time in Marlins history they've had a 10-hit inning.
Dietrich goes down. Ross gets the strikeout. To the 8th, it's 14-6. Night for the Marlins. Follow the Marlins, your favorite teams, all season long. MLB.com @bat. With the postseason coming up, you got to have it up to the moment, any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, pitch tracking widget, Christian Yelich, all of those things. MLB.com @bat, your smartphone or your tablet. Tommy Hutton will be mixing here in about an hour at the Clevelander. Special guest appearance. Tommy usually breaks it out once a month. Bit of a disguise.
But we do have tomorrow off.
Action in the pool.
Of course, I got to make that flight to St. Louis.
Yes, you do. It's 4 o'clock, huh? I think actually you and Dave O'Brien are scheduled down there. It's part of the Franchise 4. They picked Franchise 4 broadcasters as well. That would be an interest. I mean, for in Marlins history, the Marlins have had a short history, but they've had some. Marlins have had some terrific voices. Dave O'Brien, of course, Boog Shambi, yourself, Len Casper.
I think longevity, we've done a pretty good job.
That's true. On the radio side, Dave Van Horn, Hall of Famers, Velo Ramirez. Narveson carves up Pablo Sandoval.
There is Velo.
Tomorrow we fly. There's Blake Swihart. .7:30 start. Marlins Live. Brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Carl Pavano and Craig Minervini on site.
Thought we had a Carl Pavano sighting earlier today.
We did.
Just kind of on vacation. He was in vacation mode
during a commercial.
He wanted to come out and see Mike Lowell.
Swihart couldn't hold it. Narveson struck out a couple. There he is, Carl Pavano. Hugs. He's a popular guy.
Shaking hands, kissing babies. Just promoting Fox Sports Florida while we sit here and broadcast the game.
JT Realmuto is due up third in the bottom of the 8th. He is a double shy of the cycle. The Marlins have never had a hitter hit for the cycle. One of the real strange anomalies. This is the 23rd season of Marlins baseball. 5 no-hitters, no cycles.
And they've always played, if you think about Sun Life and Marlins Park, ballparks that are conducive for extra base hits, triples. But it's yet to happen. JT's going to get a shot.
Count is 2-1. Jackie Bradley Jr. Pitch by Narveson. Gordon backhands. Quick throw. Got him. A bang-bang play at first. JT Realmuto, a double shy of the cycle. Gets his swings when Miami hits in the bottom of the 8th. JT Realmuto certainly focused on Tommy Lane, the new lefty that arrives here. And his numbers. Realmuto is due up third. He's a double away from the cycle. Big shift on for Justin Bour. Bour singled over the shift. was back in the 6th inning, and that was the big inning for Miami. 10 runs in that 6th. Ten runs and 10 hits. The cycle's not easy. A lot of things have to fall your way. And it's odd how the cycle is looked at as this huge accomplishment when guys will hit 3 homers in a game, which obviously is a lot better than a single, double, triple, and a homer.
It was that Aaron Hill a few years ago with Arizona hit for the cycle twice within like a 10-day period.
Here's Gillespie.
Adrian Beltre just did it for the 3rd time in his career.
And he did it in the first 5 innings.
And by the way, with D. Gordon's 3 hits, he's jumped right back into the batting race again. D has the average up to 330.
Checkers presents Marlins Live after the ball game. That 10-run 6th. Diving stop there, out and safe. That ball clipped the mound on its way out. Holt made a terrific diving stop, but Bogart's relay late to get Gillespie, who was robbed of a hit.
Yeah, Cole Gillespie was robbed.
Our Toyota trend, 3,609 games. And no cycles. Real Muto down the right field line and foul. Now that had double written all over it, but it was foul. RBI triple in the 2nd, RBI single, and a grand slam in that 6th inning.
It would be great to do it with the home run being a grand slam. So there haven't been a whole lot of those either included in a cycle.
Real Muto, a high school shortstop, and a great high school quarterback growing up in football mad Oklahoma. "23 seasons of Marlins baseball and no cycles." It's in 3-2.
Either way, JT Real Muto's had a great day with the 6 RBIs and the 3 hits.
And he swings and misses. Everybody stand down. The bench knew.
Yeah, they knew what was going on.
Well, here's Ichiro. Ichiro, a busy day. 5th triple of the season. Has added 2 more hits in his march towards 3,000. $2,912 now. So he's within 88.
Told you before the season ends, he's going to get it down to 60, 65.
Flipped foul. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 14-6. Marlins lead. That's fouled at the plate. Cycle is almost as uncommon as a no-hitter. 288 cycles in Major League history. So it's right around the same amount of no-hitters. Sashi Iwakuma threw a no-hitter today for Seattle. Will have to settle for 3 hits, a grand slam, and 6 runs driven in. Red Sox Brock Holt hit for the cycle this year. And Ichiro goes down. 14-6. Marlins on top. 9th inning finally arrives. Honda dealers, and by Hialeah Park Racing and Casino. For more information on our 2-year anniversary on August 14th and 15th, go to HialeahParkCasino.com. Downtown Miami, as night is about to fall, and so are the Boston Red Sox. 14-6. A 10-run 6th inning for the Marlins, who make a few changes. Tomas Telis behind the plate.
So a new battery here in the top of the ninth. Brian Ellington comes on to work. Good numbers between AA and AAA, and so far in the 4 games we've seen Ellington work. He has shown us a pretty good assortment of pitches.
Alejandro De Aza. Pinch hits for Boston. This lines up to be Kyle Bearclaw's first major league win. An inning and a third in relief of Adam Conley. Needed 1 out to get to 5 innings. Bearclaw came in and finished that 5th. Also pitched the 6th, and the Marlins exploded for 10 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Chris Narveson, 2 innings, 2 runs.
How about this? The 2 games this year that the Marlins have scored 14, which is a season high. The last time they scored 14 was an Adam Conley start against Cincinnati here at Marlins Park.
Marlins and Cardinals on Friday night in St. Louis.
Always a great atmosphere at Busch Stadium.
Red Sox will host the aforementioned Mariners on Friday night.
We'll go to St. Louis. We'll see a sea of red for 3 days.
In the 9th inning in Arizona, the Phillies have come back to lead that ball game 7-6. So bottom 9 in Arizona, 7-6 Phillies. The Marlins, with that win last night, actually extracted themselves from the basement. Fish a half game ahead of the Phillies, and will stay there obviously if this score holds.
Yeah, looking at the box score of that game, Paul Goldschmidt just isn't letting up. A double, a triple, he has 3 hits. He has his average now up to 341.
Houston shut out the Giants in San Francisco 2-0. Astros continue their resurgent year. What a renaissance in baseball it's been in Houston. A 1-game lead over the Angels going into play. And the Angels are in Chicago to play the White Sox. That game is later tonight. There's your spray chart of a Fox Tracks.
So many people talking about the tremendous young rookie Carlos Correa with the Astros, a shortstop, extremely talented.
The Oz are providing plenty of souvenirs right now. What has been a 10-pitch at bat.
start looking at that Rookie of the Year race, it's going to be very good. There's 4 or 5 guys. We'll see one of them in St. Louis, Randall Grichuk, who's having a solid year.
Just over Prado's head. Diaza has a hit on his way to second, and he's in there. All right, baseball history today, a no-hitter. The 5th in Seattle history. H.H. Gregg, high-def highlights. Kyle Seager with a nice play in the ninth. Didn't rob a hit, obviously, but that's a nice out to get. Masashi Iwakuma. Gerardo Parra, a fly ball out. 5th no-hitter in that franchise's history.
You knew that King Felix was one of them. Good guess, Randy Johnson. Yes, he was one. Chris Bosio.
Chris Basios came at the expense of the Red Sox. And I'll always remember that because that was my one night as the radio engineer for the Boston Red Sox radio network.
Joe Castiglione remembers it clearly.
It's because their regular engineer didn't show up, and I was the pregame host on Seattle radio. So I sat there and played with the buttons for 9 innings. Bosio threw a no-hitter. That was the no-hitter that Omar Vizquel made a barehanded pickup on a ground ball and got the final out at first.
Then the other no-hitter you talked about, a combined no-hitter, 6 different pitchers.
So after the Diaza double, Betts flies out. John Chimchuk is our baseball historian. He puts it all in perspective. The no-hitters, cycles, and perfect games. The no-hitter today, the 289th in Major League history. Had Real Muto hit for the cycle, it would have been the 309th cycle. Holt had a cycle earlier this year.
So a few more of those than no-hitters.
Perfect games, there have been 22.
Well, we saw the Roy Halladay perfect game.
Marlins almost witnessed a no-hitter at their expense earlier this year.
Shelby Miller broken up with 2 out in the 9th inning by Justin Bour.
Of course, the weird thing about no-hitters in the Marlins, and I think for the last day of this season, the Marlins are in Philly. The last day of last season and the last day of 2013, both no-hitters. Anderson Alvarez in 13, Jordan Zimmerman last year in D.C.
Speaking of no-hitters, I saw where Cole Hamels, now with Texas, who threw one in his last start as a Philly. He's going to miss his start. Got a little tender growing pull.
Texas a game under at 55 and 56, trying to get it in gear for the stretch drive. 3-2 coming from Ellington, and it's out. Holt walks. The Red Sox with runners first and second. Here comes Bogaerts. You know, we were talking about the cycle. The cycle is more happenstance than a accomplishment. Sure, I mean, look, it's hard to get 4 hits, a homer, triple double, all that, but there are plenty of games where guys get 4 or 5 hits, including 2 or 3 homers, a couple doubles. And so this year, with the explosion of Twitter, social media, there's always the cycle warnings or cycle alerts, if you will. And I'm sure a bunch of them went out when Real Muto came to the plate. Paul Goldschmidt is a cycle away, is a homer away from the cycle. Chase Field. So there you go.
Right now, Ellington struggling with command of his breaking ball. His fastball's been lively through a 99-mile-an-hour fastball at 97. But because the other stuff, he's had trouble throwing it for strikes, the hitters are gearing up for the fastball.
Check swing, pitches in. Here's an interesting note about Iwakuma's no-hitter. The last no-hitter in the American League, according to MLB.com, was Felix's no-hitter. That bookended the longest streak of no-hitters by one league in Major League history. The National League had 12 no-hitters between those two.
Wow. Well, time had been called. You could hear home plate umpire Jerry Meals. I think there's an opportunity. Your pitcher, just go ahead and throw it. Instead of doing that, you might injure yourself doing that.
That was also Iwakuma's first career complete game. Bogarts strikes out. Travis Shaw gets his first at bat.
Well, that's a leadoff double. Brian Ellington trying to get through this. Blew that pitch by Bogarts.
Miami a win on Sunday in Atlanta. So the starts by the 3 lefties, Hand, Nicolino, and Conley. The Marlins have won all 3. Or an out away from winning this one. Breaking ball, a strike. Conley will not get the decision here. This will be Kyle Barraclough's first Major League win. Nicolino did not get a decision. Of course, the Marlins came from behind and won in extra innings. That was Brian Morris's win. Hand did get the win on Sunday. Ellington trying to finish. 0-2 to Travis Shaw. And he got him. And the ball game is over, and Miami takes both games from the Red Sox. JT Realmuto with a big day. Grand slam. He drives in 6. And the Marlins have a field day against the Red Sox here at Marlins Park. 14 runs on 17 hits. Boston 6 runs, 11 hits. And a lot of heroes up and down the lineup. D. Gordon, his 6th career home run. He had 3 hits. Cole Gillespie, 3 more hits, scored 3 runs. We told you about Realmuto. Ichiro, his 5th triple, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. And Etcheverry in the 8th spot had 2 hits as well.
And Rich, for just the 2nd time in Marlins history, the Marlins had a 10-run inning. They have to go back to July 9th, 2009 in Arizona. and only the 4th time in Marlins history a 10-hit inning. And we were able to witness that today.
So a lot to like for a ball club searching for goodness. And they find it here, winning 2 against the Red Sox. They've won 3 in a row now, the Fish. They'll try to take some momentum on the road to Beertown, St. Louis, and then on to Milwaukee for a 6-game road trip.
And you know it never gets easy. St. Louis always is going to come at you with tremendous pitching. Jaime Garcia looks like he's going to open up the series. John Lackey and Carlos Martinez. Great environment to play, but it's never easy in St. Louis, and St. Louis is cruising this year. The Cardinals go into play tonight with a record of 72-40.
Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, thank you very much, JT Romuto, coming over here after a big game. I don't know if you could dream about one of these games. You ever dream about a grand slam back in Oklahoma?
Probably at some point in my life I did, but yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight. Offense did a great job of starting off early and getting on a roll, and then from there just we kind of moved together and felt confidence off of each other, and it worked out for us.
Got a big triple too. You've been a triples machine. How about that part of your game? Triple, you're able to hit 6 triples now, among the best in Marlins history, only behind Benito Santiago.
It's nice in this part because it's hard to hit homers, so if you hit the gaps, you got a good chance to get to triple if you have even just a little bit of speed. So I've been able to take advantage of that so far this season. Hopefully I can get a few more before the year's over.
We'll take a look at the grand slam, and tell me about this at bat here, what your thoughts were, the pitch.
I was actually looking for a fastball, and he just ended up hanging a little slider slurve thing, and I was just able to clip it low enough to get it out.
There it went. JT, were you aware that you were a double away from the cycle?
I was actually. My last at bat, DJ was going to tell us hit for me, and I told him, I was like, well, let me try to get the double here and get the cycle.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went up there that bat. I was going to swing no matter what, whether he's throwing me strikes or not. So it didn't work out too well. But
the first one, if you snuck it in fair, you never know that shot you hit down the right field line.
Yeah, if it jams me just a little more, it might stay fair and get a double. Yeah. But no, it was fun. It was a fun day.
I don't know if you're aware of this. No Marlin has ever hit for the cycle. Did anybody say that to you?
Yeah, because earlier this year I was a triple away from the cycle with an at-bat left, and right. I can't remember who it was, told me the exact same thing, but I was trying to be the first one tonight. It didn't work out.
Everything else worked out. And how about Conley tonight? What did you think of his game?
Conley did well. I mean, he threw well enough to win us the ball game. You know, he kept it up. We gave him a lead, and he threw well for 5 innings, and then after him, the bullpen did a good job of holding the lead.
Nice little 3-game win streak for you guys, JT.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to win. Hopefully we can keep it rolling.
All right, have a good trip. We'll see you there.
Thank you.
JT Romuto, he lobbied and he got to the at-bat, but he couldn't come through with the double, guys. Back to you.
Gave it his best shot, but he'd have to settle for 6 runs driven in, a grand slam, and a big 14-6 win over the Red Sox. Miami wins both games of this mini 2-game set. It opened with a D. Gordon homer. The Realmuto grand slam also lit this place up. And the Fish beat the Sox despite 2 homers from Big Papi. Marlins Live is coming up